After the structural work finishes, that means beam, slab, column, everything is completed. Now it's time to give the shape of the building or the architectural finish. It starts with the block work. In the today's video, I will discuss about how to do the block work at the site. What is the material required and what is the procedure to follow and what is the degree of quality control you want to need to get a proper shape of the building. So stay tuned until the end to get the full information about the procedure of the block work. And if you are new in my channel, kindly subscribe my channel and hit the bell icon so that whenever I upload a new video, you will get immediate notification. To start with the masonry block work, the first things what we need, that what is the material is required, and material is to be inspected whenever it is arriving at the site. Why it is required? The material inspection is very much essential, because if the material inspection not as per the requirement or as per the project specification, that means the product non-conformity will happen whenever we are constructing the exact block work. So what is the material inspection? That is how to do that one. Inspect and ensure that concrete blocks meet the specifications outlined in the projects, which means the project specification is there. That means what will be the strength, what will be the water absorptions, what will be the fire resistance capacity, and what will be the sound absorption capacity and thermal conductivity as well. Within all things is in the specification as well as the IS codes or any other relevant codes. So whenever we are doing the material inspection, we need to check one by one that everything what is in the spec that should be followed, or that should be matched with the material whatever arriving at the site. Then check from uniformity, dimension, and the structural integrity. Dimension is very much important because it gives the outer shape or the shape of the building. If the dimension of the blocks is not uniform, we will not get the uniform sheet. There will be a problem when we are aligning the block work with the beams and columns. And then ensuring the availability of mortar mix meeting standard specification. That means what is the mortar we are using, what is the mortar mix, so whether it should be in the site mix or into the pre-mix, that we need to be finalized before, so that whenever we start the work we can get the material immediately. And then verify the quantity of reinforcement if required. In any block work, we know that it should be reinforced. There should be reinforced in every 3 layer or 4 layer, whatever at the specification. Then whatever the block wall tiles and whatever the chicken wire mesh using, so that are all block work accessories, whatever it's required, that should be listed out. And that all material whenever it is coming at the site, we need to check as per the specification. And then confirm compliances with relevant codes and standard. As I mentioned earlier also, this along with the specification, we also need to be confirmed that the material for the block work is meeting the criteria of the codes and the specification. The first things of the block work we need to do, that the material inspection, whatever the material is required or at arriving at site, that is meeting the product requirement of the project. Then is the site preparation. What is the site preparation is required? Then first mark the layout of the block wall using the reference lines and labels. Why the reference line is required? Because somebody can say the block work column is there, beam is there, we can make the block work from column to column. No, this is a wrong concept and this is a wrong procedure. Always we need to follow the using the reference line or the grid lines. Why? Because the dimension whatever is mentioning from grid to grid, and accordingly the dimension of the room or the area is specified. If we follow the block concrete column or the wall, it will give the erroneous result. So we need always first to fix the center line or the grid line, and accordingly then we need to prepare the block layout. Then clear the construction area of any debris or obstruction. That means area to be cleared, that area is safe. Then set up scaffolding and safety measures according to relevant safety codes. If scaffolding is always required, so scaffolding is safe, that should be ensured by the safety people. That is the site preparation. The fourth things is setting out. The first thing is use the string lines and labels to mark the positions of the wall, that the reference line or the grid line is our primary point that first we need to fix the grid line, and according to the grid line we need to place the first layer of the block, that is called the blockwork layout. And whenever we are doing the layout, we need to check the distance in between blockwork to blockwork, and also the right angle of we need to check whenever we are doing the blockwork layout or the setting out. Then verify dimension and alignment according to the construction drawing. It is very much essential. That's why we need to follow the center line, and from the center line how much edge of the block work, and from the center line to center how much the distance, what is the distance dimension of the room, that we need to check whenever we are preparing the setting out. Then ensure compliance with the relevant building codes, that is the minimum distance is required as per building codes, that you need to follow at the site whenever we are doing the setting out. So first is material inspection, then the site clearance, then the setting out. That setting out always to be done with the reference line or the grid line. Whatever the concrete column, shear wall, beam, slab is there, we will not look after that, because it can give the erroneous result. Because whenever we are doing the concrete, there may be a bulging of the concrete or the eccentricity column can happen, and if we follow that one, it will give the erroneous result. So that's why we need to first fix the center line, and according to the center line or the grid line, we need to setting out the block work. So we set out the block work. Now we need to do the actual work. Then mixing of mortar. Why mixing of mortar? Because we now want to place the blocks, and how to bond that blocks is the mortar is required. Then follow the recommendation of mixed proportion of for mortar. That means the mixed proportion may be 1:3, 1:4. That will be in the specification or the codes that we need to follow. Now, how to mix that one? That is also one criteria. It is always the volume mix, 1:3 or the 1:4. Now, how to make? It is a premix. If it is a premix coming, then the bag is coming. So 1 bag cement with a 4 bag sand. But if in a site we are doing, if it is a more small quantity of we doing, then we need the measuring box, and according to the measuring box we need to 1:4 or the 1:3, we need to mix the material. Now there is another things, we need to pour the water. Without the water the mix cannot be produced. And what is the proportion of the water? That everyone, whenever we are doing the block work, whenever we are preparing the mortar, we need to do taste that whatever the water is required, that the consistency of cement, that consistency of cement we need to first finalize, and according to them we need to place make a trial mix at the site, that for this 1:4 we need this much of water at the site. And accordingly, whenever we are doing the actual work, there will be a measuring cylinder, and according to the measuring cylinder we will pour the water into the mortar. And until unless it is the same with the concrete, that if it is the less or the more, it will give the erroneous result, it will decrease the strength, because mortar also has the strength, and that strength has to be established or it has to be produced. If there is less or the more water, it is always harmful. So water content also we need to finalize, we need to do a trial mix, and accordingly we need to place the mortar. And then mix mortar thoroughly using appropriate equipment. Now how to mix that water? Somebody is doing the hand mixing, somebody is doing the machine mixing. If it is a machine mixing, and what is the total time is required to mix, that we need to find out. And if it is a hand mixing, always code has the guidelines that extra cement, 10% cement has to produce. So extra cement is to be produced, and whenever we are mixing the mortar, within the initial setting time of the cement, we need to pour the mortar, and we to place the mortar, we want to place the blocks on that. If it is beyond the initial setting time of the cement, the mortar will not be accepted. Then verify the consistency and workability of the mortar. As I discussed, that consistency and the workability we need to first establish doing the trial mix. We always forgot to do the trial mix for the mortar, because we are always placing as per that 1:3 and whatever the water is required. No, as same thing for the concrete as well as the mortar, we need to do a trial mix to finalize the water content, consistency, and the workability. Then ensure mortar meets the required relevant codes and standard. So same things, codes and standard is there that we have to mention. So mortar is a very much important thing, because it is the glue, and it will bind the blocks together and make it an envelope. So if the mortar is not in the proper proportion, the block work will not be as per the requirement, or it will deteriorate, or it will break after the times. Now next part is laying the blocks. Now the first layer we have done, we have mixed the mortar, we have proportionate the mortar, we have mixed the mortar. Now we need to lay the blocks. First, apply a layer of mortar to the foundation or previous course of blocks. Then place blocks in position, ensuring proper alignment and spacing. Now we need to place the mortar one by one. We need to check the horizontal line as well as the vertical line, so that the spirit level, laser level, whatever is there, and the plumb bob, we need to check that every layer is in the same level and in the same vertical alignment, so that there will be no error whenever we are making the dimension, as well in the horizontal direction and as well as the vertical direction. Then place blocks in position, ensuring proper alignment, spacing, and then butter the ends blocks with mortar before placing. That means the last mortar, whenever block we are placing, that end portion also need to be placed the mortar, so that it will also bond with the concrete face or the horizontal face. Then now you spirit level, check for the vertical and the horizontal alignment, as I already discussed. Then staggered joints for added stability. Yes, the staggered joint is very much essential. In the all blocks in the vertical joint should not be in the same place, then there can be a possibility it will break. So there is always a staggered joint, and there are different types of joint is there. So that I will discuss in another video, what type of joint to follow and what type not to follow, and which one is the best for that. But now now it's time that staggered joint is always accepted for the stability. And then embedded reinforcement if required, following specification. As I discussed earlier also, the reinforcement, the chicken wire mesh, the block work ties, or whatever it is in the vertical, also vertical ties, horizontal ties, chicken wire mesh, or the embedded reinforcement, whatever as per the specification, as per the drawing, that we need to follow, and that we need to place as per the drawing or as shown in the specification. So the reinforcement is very much essential, and it to be ensuring in each and every layer, whether we are not doing or not, because we need to reinforce to make a joint in between the concrete and the block, so that it gives the structural stability. And then remove excess mortar as work progress. There will always be a possibility that the excess mortar will be there on the block work, and whenever we are finishing the work, we need to remove that block work, so give the architectural finish or the aesthetic views. So these are the laying of blocks. Then we need to jointing and pointing. What is jointing and pointing? The vertical joint and the horizontal joint. Then we need to fill vertical and horizontal joint with mortar. Now we use appropriate tools to strike joints to achieve the desired finish. That means we have now to give the aesthetic finish or the architectural finish. We fill the horizontal joint, we fill the vertical joint. Now we need to rack it out and make it a joint. Now one thing I missed, that is what will be the thickness of the mortar when you are placing one above another blocks. It's 12 to 15 mm, that we need to ensure that neither this less or not the above. There is a code specify the maximum 12 to 15 mm mortar thickness to be specified in the block work. And then ensuring joint fully uniformly and finish neatly. Follow standard for joint thickness and the finishing. So that I already discussed what is the joint thickness of the mortar and everything. So these are the jointing on pointing after finishing the block work. Now the next part is curing. Now it is also important curing. In the RCC structure or the concrete, curing is very much essential, because the water and cement react each other. We are called the hydration of cement, that make a hardened paste and gives the strength of the concrete. In here also in the mortar, we are producing the cement and the water we are pouring. That means that is also work in the similar way. And if that we are not cured, the water inside the mortar will evaporate, and there will be less water inside the mortar, and desired strength will not be happen, and after sometimes it will be a dust, and the block work joint will be very weak. So that things curing is very much essential. Follow recommended curing procedures to ensure strength development. Cover block with the Hessian cross and the other material. Maintain moisture level as per the standard. This is the same as per the concrete curing, we need to check this curing also same way to give a proper structural stability of the block work. So curing is also very much important in the block work that we need to follow. Then is inspection and quality assurance. See, we need to inspect the block work. Now we need to prepare the ITP or the inspection test plan for the block work as well, in which level and what type of inspection we need. There is a hold point, there is a witness, there is surveillance, whatever. So regular inspection during construction. As we can first point, what we need to check, the first hold point should be the block layout. The first layer the contractor will do, and we need to check as a quality control engineer or the consultant or client will come, and they will verify the dimension and everything, and after that we can start inspection doing the block work. So first hold point will be the block layout, the first layout of the plan. Then whenever we are doing the work, the consultant or client can come anytime and they can check, that is the surveillance inspection, and then verify dimension, alignment and quality of work, ensuring compliance in the relevant codes and specification, address any defects or issues promptly. So whatever we taking the quality assurance plan or the quality control checklist, there may be a possibilities that there can be defect happen. So if this is happening, we need to address it immediately and we need to close this one. So these are the inspection and the quality assurance for the block work. And then what is the codes and standard for this block work? The first thing that Indian standard is 2185 Code of Practice for Concrete Masonry Units, Hollow and Solid Concrete Blocks, ASTM C90 and BSEN 1996 for the European standard. So these are the codes and standard we need to ensuring whenever we are doing the block work. So these are the things, block works procedure in details. And if you have anything in your mind or you want to ask something regarding the block work and the block work procedure, please let me know. I am glad to here to help you. And if you want to know anything about the construction procedure, quality control procedure, please let me know. I will come along with more content like this, and I'm always waiting for your valuable feedback and the valuable comments, so that from your comment, everybody can be benefited. And thank you once again for watching me. And if you're new in my channel, kindly subscribe my channel and hit the bell icon so that whenever I upload a new video, you will get immediate notification. Thank you. Thank you very much.